A Thousand Men and a Baby was released in 1997. This is directed by Marcus Cole, written by Richard Lader, and we have a cast including Richard Thomas, Gerald McRaney, Jonathan Banks, Doris Roberts. It's because of Doris Roberts that I became aware of this, and I wasn't sure if I'd enjoy it, but then I learned that it's based on a true story, and that's when I became interested in it, because I love, generally, there are exceptions, but generally I enjoy films based on true stories because it's a bit of an education. So that part of it I did like, but I also can't comment on how accurate it is. I don't have that much to say about this. I made 0 notes when watching it. Usually when I'm watching films, I will make quite a few notes on various aspects. And with this one, I didn't really find that I had that much to say, or I didn't have that many thoughts, which means that it's not a bad film at all, but it also means that it didn't really excite me too much. It's about a baby who is discovered, who is found. It's a Korean baby, and they don't want the baby to go into an orphanage. They want to look after the baby and care for it, and obviously ultimately set it up for the best life possible. And they obviously don't know what to do. Do they take it on board the ship? This is the US Navy. And the question is, what's ultimately going to happen with this baby? And because it was based on a true story, I certainly found it to be quite a fascinating concept. But that's not to say the execution of the narrative was the most fascinating. I found that while I was never bored, I was never really emotionally invested in it. I didn't think the characters were that interesting. Again, not badly written. I just didn't emotionally connect with anybody, but they were perfectly likable, perfectly fine characters. I just wasn't that bothered about any of them in particular. So had it not been based on a true story, I might not have found it to be as interesting. I'm going to assume, and this is absolutely an assumption, but I'm going to assume that ultimately what happens in the film is what happened in real life. It would be a bit bizarre to change the ending. So I was curious to see what would happen, but I wasn't that emotionally invested. So it's an absolutely fine film. The pacing is generally okay. The characters are well written. The performances are fine. I don't know if the costumes and the other aspects are true to the time period. This was in the 50s, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it felt realistic, it felt believable, but I can't obviously vouch on the complete historical accuracy to the time period or the specifics of the story. Doris Roberts was very good. I watched it because of Doris Roberts. Had I not watched it, I don't think I would have been missing out on much. I feel like because I never really emotionally connected with it, I would have been better just reading an article about the true story. I intentionally didn't read anything about it because I wanted the element of surprise with the film, and I just unfortunately wasn't really connecting with it as much as I wanted to. So it's not a bad film, it's not a bad experience. I don't mind having watched it once, but I definitely wouldn't want to watch it again. If it sounds like it would appeal to you, maybe check it out. I'm happy enough to recommend it, but there's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't really love the experience, and as I said, if it were not based on a true story, I probably wouldn't have expected to like it that much, but usually when something's based on truth, I can more easily have an emotional connection with it, and it didn't deliver for me on this occasion. Nothing wrong with it. Ultimately, an interesting concept based on truth, but were it not for Doris Roberts being in it, and I did enjoy watching her in this, it would have been the same experience just reading an article about it. So yes, happy enough to recommend it if it sounds like it might appeal to you, but ultimately I thought A Thousand Men and a Baby, also known as Narrow Escape, was an okay film. I didn't love it. I wouldn't watch it again, but if it appeals to you, then I'd say maybe it's worth watching.